I can see the parked bus down on the left-hand side. He's moving away. I'm still keeping slightly out towards the offside for a view down the offside. I can see the traffic lights and I'm going to turn left there. I can now move across on my correct course well before we get to the lights and give my left turn signal. Now I know this junction, it's a tight left turn there, and this lorry could well have problems getting round. And I only hope that that cyclist gets out of his way. Because if he doesn't realise that lorry's turning left, the rear of that lorry is going to swing in towards the near side. And it could end up in a very nasty situation. We'll just have a look and see. He's scooting along there, apparently oblivious to the lorry. Just hope the lorry driver's seen it. Remember to give way for pedestrians when turning left at traffic lights. I'm not suggesting that you should stop for them, but if they're there crossing, then you've got to allow them to complete their manoeuvre. Here's our lorry going to turn right, so we're going to move towards the near side, just to take advantage of whatever vision we've got, holding back from him. The further you are back, the more you can see up ahead. As he moves away, I've now got a clear road and I can go briskly back up to 30 miles an hour. Remembering side turnings. And when you look at these cars in the side turnings, wondering whether or not he's going to pull out in front of you, I would suggest, instead of looking at the car, you look at the driver of that car and look at his face. If he's looking away from you, it could be reasonable to expect that he hasn't seen you. If he's looking towards you, all you can safely assume that he is looking in your direction. But you'll get an impression of what he's going to do by looking at his face. Traffic light junctions like the one we're at now, the obvious position for going straight on is in the offside lane. Now there's a car pulling up on my near side and we can see the road ahead narrows from the near side. So one or two of us has got to give way to the other. So he's making his Le Mans start quite safely. Remember the benefit of an early course. You don't need to signal to make these minor variations in your line. That can be more confusing than helpful to other drivers. I find it very annoying following somebody in a built-up area who continues to signal right and left just to pass stationary cars. Where if he'd got on his course early enough, there would have been no perceptible movement anyway. And he doesn't need a signal. Now I'm looking at the face of that driver. I can see her looking towards me. See the benefit of this early course, staying out for those parked vans. No point moving back in again. All it suggests to the person behind is that possibly you're going to pull up behind them. Don't drive too close to high-backed vehicles. The closer you are, the less you're going to see. By keeping this distance from him, I can see up his near side as he goes around the slight left-hand bend. And as he moves in, I've got a good view to the front and I can drive safely by without altering my position hardly at all. Now this set of traffic lights, to go straight ahead, we've got to take the near side lane because that's what the arrows say. An interesting set of lights here. From the red, we'll get a red and amber, then a green arrow pointing ahead only and to the left. When that arrow comes up, the Triumph on our right there will have to stay where he is. Very occasionally the lights will do a normal change through red, and amber, green for all vehicles. But when that arrow comes up, if it comes up this time, the Triumph has got to stay where he is, and he will then get an amber flashing arrow to the right, which means he can move off but giving way to the pedestrians. Now he's done it all wrong. He's turning right, he should have stayed where he was and waited for that flashing amber arrow that's just come up. Maybe he's a stranger to the area. Always remember what it says in the highway code: when in doubt, hold back. I wish a lot more people would do that. I'm getting a bit worried now. The car coming up on my offside is going to overtake me. I'm still doing 30 miles an hour. He's now checked his off and given a late right turn signal. Well, he gained absolutely nothing out of that fast bit of overtaking, except wasting a bit of fuel. Brake lights from that Mini there. The driver seems to be settling himself down. Whenever we see movement from parked cars, we've got to expect that they're going to do something. Be it reverse into a driveway, make a U-turn, or just pull out and join the normal stream of traffic. You must never expect that they've seen you. A situation where a normally quite wide road is severely reduced by a continuous line of parked cars along the near side. And the only way to negotiate this particular hazard is to stay out on course and remain there. There's no point in moving in now, because I'll have to move out again to get past that old Austin A40. Here's our roundabout. There's nothing there, there's no need to stop. We treat the roundabout as a series of bends, technically. We always give a left signal when we want to leave the roundabout. Our ice cream van, children at school, looking underneath for the feet. Looks to be clear. Over to the near side of this right hand bend. See the chap in front, his head swinging around from side to side, obviously looking for somewhere. Looks like he's found it. A right turn with no signal. A nice stretch of road along here, nothing really to give us much of a problem. Parked cars, and again a nice early course. Hardly any movement on the steering wheel gets us past. No need for signals at all. We've got a bit of a dog's leg junction coming up. We've got to do a left and then immediately right. Now we see by the way that chap took that left turn, there was no need for a signal there at all, because the position of his car indicates where he's going to go, but I'm going to give a right turn signal here, although he didn't. Checking both ways. Okay, nice and briskly up to 30 miles an hour, make the most of it. Those lights in front, I'm going to turn left. I'll check my mirror, there's no following traffic, I'm not going to give a signal yet. I've got room to go up the near side of that right turn in Vauxhall. As we come to a stop, looking to the right, I can see the lights changing on the secondary lights there of the other junction. They're now gone to green, The traffic stopped, I can turn left. No need for a signal at all there, because there was no one behind me. No one's going to benefit from it. You've got to consider whether you need a signal or not. If you think about it, you're halfway there. This stretch of road is very tempting to put your foot down. But it's still a 30 limit. These arrows telling us to keep over because there's a special gap in the centre there to turn right. Crosshatch markings again to separate opposing streams of traffic. This set of lights is interesting because it's a T-junction. It's signed up left-hand lane turn left, right-hand lane turn right. And occasionally we get people turning right from the near side, which is not only inconsiderate, but is also potentially dangerous. Right, there he goes now. Policeman stopped him. See how dangerous that was. The bus is signalling, so I'm going to let him go. I'm not going to flash my lights at him. Flashing headlights causes no end of problems, and it only has one meaning. It's the same as that of the horn, to warn some other driver of your approach. Remember, keeping out towards the offside for vision. You're not going to see anything looking at Ruislip Motors badge on the back of that bus. So we keep out slightly to the offside of it, only a matter of inches. It's surprising from this distance behind how much I can see ahead. And the coach and the lorry there having problems. Don't know why that Cortina needed to take up so much of the room there. Ahead. Oh, I've seen the old lady on the crossing. No brake lights from the Triumph. Looks to be clear up ahead, but look at all these pedestrians about. Occasionally they're a little bit like lemmings. You'll find if there's one, there's usually some more following. They assume that because it's safe for one to cross, that they can go as well. Right indicator from that lorry. In fact, it's not turning right at all. He's just going past a stationary vehicle. There's no need for that signal at all. All it did was confuse the chap behind him. This one's coming out. I'm going to stop for him. I don't like the look of it. Had the impression there he was going anyway. I've lost nothing by stopping for him. Cyclist on the wrong side of the road. Well, there we are. We've had a drive around the local roads and we've seen several examples of bad and inconsiderate driving due to poor positioning, lack of anticipation and all the other silly things really that lead up to accidents. I hope that you've learnt something from what you've seen today, so drive safely and enjoy.